I have a sense of anger in my energy at the moment. I'm sort of angry because Putin has invaded Ukraine. I'm angry that I sat with my guides and sat with them, and I was going over that question so many times with them. Are we going to go to war? Like, I really wanted to get the truth of, are we going to go to war? And I was shown that we were edging towards war. And it would look, remember I had that video last week, I think, where I had the vision of like buffaloes, where one was trying to force his power onto others, and if he was against just one other buffalo, he could go against like a war. But because there were so many standing in a group, that it wouldn't happen. So I was the way I was visualizing things, that really felt like it was not going to actually go to the point of invasion. I thought it was going to get so close to an invasion. I even said I saw a missile going off that went sort of nowhere. And that did happen because Russia did send off a missile sort of as a threat. And that to me was what was going to unfold, and that's where it was going to stop. But then Putin has used his free will and made, as I feel, like a bad decision, where he's now putting innocent people's lives at risk. There may be things going on in his mind that I have absolutely no idea about, and no one else has any idea about, like his motives behind things. But I'm sort of feeling a bit angry. Was I getting the message wrong? Were my guides giving me the wrong information? Was it just a case of it was all going that way, and then because Putin has used his free will, he's changed the course of things? I'm not sure, but I get angry when I see people make decisions or people attack other people. I just, for the life of me, I can't understand why you would want to lash out and attack another human being. I mean, that's obviously what empaths can't understand. We just don't understand the need to hurt other human beings, either verbally or physically, because it is something within the person who is attacking that has all the issues. The person attacking is the one who's holding, they're living in an egotistical state. They just need that power. They obviously don't think very much of themselves, and they are not emotionally mature at all. So they attack other people out of their own anger towards themselves. And that makes me angry to watch. Probably because I would like people to be different, and they're just not going to be different. You know, it's that thing of when you can see somebody has so much potential to be better, and they don't use that potential. It can upset you, and it's so hard to just let that go. But I just feel so much compassion for innocent people that are in Ukraine, and also innocent people in Russia, because they're not making that decision. Somebody else is making that decision for them. The fear that children must go through to hear bombs, to not to think, is this my last day on earth? Like, they don't have any control over. And where do they go? They're trying to go underground to find shelter. It's just, war does not solve problems. It just doesn't. They have learnt nothing from history? And then I was sort of thinking, we have so many people in this world that are putting out that energy, sending energy to awaken people, to break down these systems so that we can live in a more peaceful way. And I was thinking, why is our positive energy, all of us together, and all this positive energy that we're praying, the prayers and all the good thoughts, why is it not helping dismantle the negativity? Why is the negativity still there? Although, maybe this is happening I don't know, there must be a lot of people out there that are just so fed up with governments making decisions on behalf of people. And are there still some people out there that are just going along with the narrative, and it's this last thing of war that has to finally wake them up and make them see things differently? As I've said before, we need those tower moments before we can see change. And my little dog is over there scratching in a beanbag, trying to get in. That's what the noise you can hear. And the innocent life of a little dog that has no problems in the world. Yeah, so where was I? I don't know. It's just it's frustrating that why do we even have to have military? If there was no such thing as military, then a leader had a problem. Put a leader and another leader in a room together and let them sort it out amongst each other. Don't bring everyone else into it. If there was no military, there would be no wars. If there was no borders, like who started borders? We do not own this land. We are souls that come into a human body, we journey, and then we go. We don't take the land with us. We don't take possession. You never own your own home. You think you own your own home. You're just borrowing it. You're borrowing everything here in the physical. You don't take it with you when you die. So for a person to want to take over land as though it's their own, like they own their country, they're protecting their country. He's just one person. He's just a soul that's come to this earth and just causing such disruption for everybody else. And I know that his soul is going to be tormented when he passes. But that doesn't stop the destruction that he does while he's here. And it's not just him. There's just many, many people on this earth that cause destruction to others. And their what's the word? Their compensation, they will have to review the life they've lived, and they will have to see what they've caused, but that doesn't actually help while we are here. So, a few months ago when we were feeling this building of energy, maybe that was us feeling this, it was coming to this point. And I don't know, I think the empath in me still believes that there are good people in this world, that we can actually convince people to do the right thing. And then I get disillusioned when someone, I keep calling him a knobhead. Putin is a knobhead. It's not just him too, it's the leader of Ukraine, and it's the leader of all countries. I mean, when you really look at them, they're not highly intelligent with their emotions, are they? They all run off their ego. They all live in this world. There's nothing spiritual about a leader, the government leaders. So how are they going to understand things from an empathetic point of view? I've heard so many presidents or prime ministers stand up at a microphone when there's been a disaster, and where they have said, we pour our hearts out to you and we're very sorry for what happened. There is no feeling from their heart when they say that. You can feel authenticity coming out of someone's heart when they say something, when they're really, really sorry. You never feel that from those. They're disconnected from their emotions, just like a narcissist is. So they can make a decision and not feel guilt and not feel shame while they're here on earth. They've just disconnected from those feelings. But they will have to be accountable for that when they've passed over. So I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking, what next, guides? I mean, I was so sure. I could just feel that. I just felt this such a knowing that we weren't going to go into a war situation. maybe I was misled. Maybe it's the empath in me that just really wanted it to be that way. Or maybe these sanctions that the different countries are putting into place will be enough to make Putin realize that his country will be affected in such a way without having the supply of what's needed. But then, you know, I also had a vision in the future of our countries being more self-sufficient within each person's country. So like within Australia, for instance, rather than relying on so much technology and product from around the world, a lot of it was going to be made and grown within Australia. So maybe countries are doing that, you know, looking after their own, so to speak. So I don't know. I don't know that I even want to sit and go into the energy of this. Maybe because I don't want to see if they are going to destroy things. I don't know. It's really it throws my trust in my guides when something like this happens. When I really sit with them and I've trusted them for so long, and they've always been right. Like, they've always been right. And when something like this happens and then something that's not right, it throws me. It throws me like, why? Why was this bit of information wrong? Like, what was the purpose in that? Or did I get it wrong? Or was it a case of Putin actually just, his free will has just blown this into a different direction? So I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel about what you've been feeling in the build-up of energy? And as I was saying to a friend this morning, like, I just feel so angry at the moment. I just feel anger that people want to keep destroying people. It's enough is enough. It wasn't like COVID enough. Hasn't the world suffered enough with COVID? And now, oh, well, we'll just start a war just to make people suffer more. There's floods happening around the world. There's fires happening. There's massive earthquakes. There's just destruction everywhere. And we're being shown to come together, to stand together. And that's not happening. How many tower moments does the universe keep throwing at us until we start sticking together? How many? I don't know. There is no answer. People were going to learn at their own pace, I guess. So, you know, as I've said before, you get a lesson and you can either take that lesson or ignore the lesson and repeat the lesson. So I feel like it's a bit of a retreat maybe, step away from the energy. Don't feed the energy. I don't want to watch it on the news, and I don't want to, it's important to know what's going on, but also by watching it continually, you're feeding into it, aren't you? And then you're feeding the media, because the only people that get wealthy during a war is the media and corporate business, the big businesses that make weapons and make anything to do with war. They get rich, and government gets more powerful. People get nothing. People get hurt. People lose lives. And yet, was this whole dismantling of energy to bring us to a point to see that? And now what? It's still happening. It's just like, here we go. Here's another lesson. Let's all go through another lesson, because we just don't get it. So it's not a very nice energy to be sitting in at the moment. I may be holding on to a lot of energy that I'm feeling around the world, like that anger energy. But it's not a nice feeling, and I just thought I needed to talk about it this morning, because I can admit when I've seen something through spirit and I've said what I've seen and it's turned out wrong, I can admit that I have been wrong. I either got the message wrong, spirit got it wrong. I don't have a problem with saying that I was wrong, because I don't want to work from my ego. I also want to keep trusting my guides, and I'm just sort of hoping that it was just something that Putin has changed the course of things because of his own free will. or his own ego. I don't know. Or is there something a lot more going on behind all this that is yet to unfold? So I'm still going to wish you a nice day. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll talk to you soon.